That voice is really annoying. Please stop doing that.
Now, don't think that the irony of this comment coming from a person with a profile picture like this is completely lost on me. Wow, that is a tough question. What watch would I get to celebrate a milestone on a $500 budget? Now, if I'm gonna be honest, most collections have far too many watches, period. And I mean, how many watches do we really need? So yeah, I have to be honest. I have come around on the Omega Seamaster Pro Diver and more specifically that Helium escape valve feature. Well, I don't know about that. The majority of my most viewed videos are entirely entry-level affordable watches. What's up everyone, you're watching the Just Bluefish Watch Reviews channel, and if you've been around for a bit, you know what this is. It's the semi-regular Sunday with Guy episode. It's my weekly-ish show where I answer viewer comments and questions, and it's where I talk about things that are on my mind. Now, before we get started, number one, wristwatch check. This is the Seiko speed timer. I did a review on it a few weeks ago, maybe a month or more ago now at this point. Great little watch, I really like it. Sono Solar Quartz chronograph. Absolutely, it's outstanding. Also, before we jump into the viewer questions and comments, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. A friend has asked me to work with him and to partner up on a website that he built, and I want to share it with you guys. The website is called watchtowear.com. It's a site for buying and selling watches. Now, you might be wondering why use some new site when things like eBay and Chrono24 already exist. Well, because this site's cheaper is the bottom line. Listing watches for sale costs nothing, and there is a fee for when you sell a watch, but the fee is pretty amazing. For dealers, it's just 2.5% of the total sale with a max fee of $250. Not bad at all, much cheaper than Chrono24 or eBay. For individuals, it's even better. Currently, it is 100% free with no seller's fee whatsoever. Now, of course, you do have payment processor fees, so if the payment is through something like PayPal, for example, you do have to pay their fee, but that's always the case regardless of where you sell your watch. So do me a favor, go over to watchtowear.com, check out the site, maybe make a free account, maybe list some watches for sale. Again, it doesn't cost you anything, but more importantly, let us know what you think about the site. I would love to hear your feedback.
The biggest mistake I see in people's collections is far too many dive watches.
Now, if I'm going to be honest, most collections have far too many watches, period. And I mean, how many watches do we really need? And yes, that applies to all genres of watches, not just divers. I mean, yeah, you could go overboard on one type of watch. Sure, that happens. But I definitely know some guys that are probably watching this channel right now, or this video right now, and they have dozens upon dozens of watches in their collection. And I gotta be honest, I get a little bit anxious just thinking about that. And yes, I am a little bit neurotic. And the idea of accumulating tons and tons of stuff, just stuff in general, doesn't sit well with me. I'm sort of the opposite of a hoarder in that regard. Having stuff just sitting around that I feel like I'm not really using and taking advantage of does something to my mental state, and I don't like the way that it makes me feel. Now, what do I think is the perfect sized watch collection? Well, if I'm being completely honest with myself, and I would probably say it's just one watch, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, even I do have more than just one watch, so that's probably not realistic. But I don't know, I guess if I were going to say arbitrarily what I think is the best size, it's probably 3 watches in total.
Why are we pretending that this guy is an authority in watch recommendations? Do a prob sent him this watch anyway?
Man, I had a lot of kind of nasty comments this week, and I mean, I don't even know if that one's English. It didn't make a ton of sense, but I think I got the gist of it. That wasn't the only nasty comment this week, though. Here's another one that I got.
Listening to this man hurts my inner being. No way could I ever interact with this man for too long. It still just hurts thinking of him function.
So according to the first guy, I'm a know-nothing watch poser who shills watches that he got for free, which, by the way, I didn't get that watch free that he was talking about. That was on loan from my regular channel partner, Exquisite Timepieces. And then, of course, according to the second guy, I'm apparently an insufferable bastard who would be a real pain to just get to know. And yeah, to be fair, I do have my moments, but come on, I'm not that bad. Now, I have to say, I'm just not sure what possesses people to leave completely uninformed, off-the-wall comments like these, or how they can even come to the conclusions that they did. It's a very bizarre world that we live in, and it's full of people that do absolutely nothing for the world and the people around them except take up space and make the lives of the rest of us just a little bit more disappointing. And it makes me sad.
I think the helium escape valve makes it special. It looks cool and tooly. No other watch looks like this one.
Now, before we dive into this next one, real quick, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Only about 13.7% of the folks watching my videos are actually subscribed, and I really, really need your help and support to grow this channel. My goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and we are over halfway there. And when I do hit that number, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a giveaway featuring a collection of several watches that I have put together that I think would make for a really fantastic watch collection for somebody. And one of those watches might be the one that I'm wearing today, but no spoilers. Anyway, I will officially announce that giveaway next month. In the meantime, please hit subscribe because you can't win the giveaway if you're not subscribed to this channel. So yeah, I have to be honest, I have come around on the Omega Seamaster Pro Diver and more specifically that helium escape valve feature. I used to absolutely hate it, but now I find it kind of endearing. I do still maintain that it's pretty much pointless. No one really needs it, aside from, a professional saturation diver, but, just for reference, based on Wikipedia anyway, there's only around 300 saturation divers in the United States of America. I would guess that number for the entire world is probably less than 1,000, maybe significantly less. And the market for that feature, yes, it is incredibly small. Now, the market for the Seamaster is proportionally quite a bit larger. And, even if it is a useful feature for a fraction of a percent of users, I kind of doubt that all of those users are even using a mechanical watch. And not some sort of specialized device or dive computer or something. But, with all of that said, yeah, in terms of a design feature, I have actually come around on it, and I like that little wart on the side of the watch case. It does make the watch kind of unique, and sure, that's a good thing.
I really don't understand why they aren't making extra holes in the clasp if there is space enough.
Look, brother, you are preaching to the choir. I have been bitching and complaining about watch manufacturers making bracelets without ample micro adjustment for going on 8 years now, for as long as I've been on YouTube. It's insane to me that we are living in a day and age where watches come on bracelets without enough adjustment to get a perfect fit. It's crazy.
Hi, noob here. What is GMT?
GMT is short for Greenwich Mean Time, and that's the time zone in London, England at the prime meridian. But that's not really the important point. You were watching a video on a GMT watch. In watch terms, when we're talking about a GMT watch, what we really mean is that it's a watch with a second hour hand capable of tracking the time in more than one time zone. The Rolex GMT Master is one of the more famous examples of a GMT watch, but there are many others, and it's a cool watch complication that offers people a little bit more timekeeping functionality than a standard three-hand wristwatch that has hours, minutes, and seconds.
Nobody is really talking about watches in the lower tiers anyway.
Well, I don't know about that. The majority of my most viewed videos are entirely entry-level affordable watches. Yeah, there are videos that have a lot of views that are on high-end luxury watches too, but my Hamilton Khaki Field video has 272,000 views. My Casio G-Shock DW5600 video has 261,000 views. My video on the Invicta Pro Diver has 237,000 views. The Orient Ray video has 188,000 views. A video on watches under $500 has 175,000 views. Another video covering mostly affordable Rolex Submariner homage watches has 175,000 views also. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And yeah, I do, again, have some videos covering high-end and expensive luxury watches that do have lots of views. But in retrospect, perhaps Even surprisingly, the majority of my videos with lots of views are videos on affordable watches. Now, I know that the person that left this comment wants to disparage affordable watches by calling them lower tier, and they probably only like to buy expensive luxury timepieces. And look, by all means, collect and wear what you like. You do you. But to say that no one is talking about affordable watches and, by extension cares about them, well, that's just completely short-sighted and out of touch with reality. Affordable watches at prices under $1,000 are, if I had to guess, representing the overwhelming majority of watches owned by people that are viewing my videos. So while I will keep doing videos on higher-end watches too, I can guarantee you that I will also be talking about these quote-unquote lower-tier watches as well.
If you were going to get one watch to celebrate a milestone and it had to be at about $500, what would you get and why?
Wow, that is a tough question. What watch would I get to celebrate a milestone on a $500 budget? There's my favorite usual suspects, but man, there's a lot of great options out there. First and foremost, of course, everyone probably knows this, but I'm a huge fan of the Hamilton Khaki Field, both the mechanical and the automatic versions. That would be at the absolute top of my list. I think it's one of the best watches that you can get, period, at any price point. The Seiko 5 SKX is another one of my favorite diver watches, at least in terms of the design of the case and the bezel and everything. And yeah, I would probably consider one of those just because of its iconic style. Albeit I was, of course, disappointed that they dumbed down the specs when they discontinued the actual SKX and brought out this line of Seiko 5 models. Yes, that's true. If you want something a little bit more dressy, but, not an actual dress watch, something that's more versatile, I have been looking at the Citizen Suyosa, I think is how you say it, and those look awesome. Now, I haven't personally tried one as of yet, but I did actually just order one for a video to test drive because I do think they look fantastic, and I am really interested to see one in person. Now, there are tons of great micro-brand watches too, and so many, I don't know, I didn't even want to start naming brands. There's just so many, I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole. But yeah, the list, it's just about endless when it comes to great watches under $500. Now, if you can start to stretch your budget a bit, maybe up towards $1,000, there's a bunch of other watches that I would definitely look into. First of all, there's the Tissot PRX. I think it's the PRX. I'll put a picture up. And yeah, I think that's a really great watch, and I really liked it when I did my video on it a while back. There's also a lot of great Seiko divers, especially if you get them pre-owned, that are maybe a bit over $500, but under $1,000. We're talking about watches like the SPB series, the 62 Moss divers, maybe the Prospex Captain Willard edition. And yeah, the list, it goes on and on.
My wrist is 3 6/4 inches in circumference.
Yeah, I goofed that one up. I said my wrist size was 3 6/4 inches instead of 6 3/4 in a video that I did ages ago on the Orient Kamasu. And when I realized the error, I said to myself, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it in, and I'm going to see how many people actually notice that error. And yeah, over the years, lots of people have noticed, and they have loved pointing it out in the comments. And I think that at this point, I kind of treat it like it's a little bit of an Easter egg in that video, and I sort of enjoy it when you guys mention it in the comments. Now, I don't think that I've had as many comments over a goof that I've done in videos, and trust me, there's been a lot of goofs. I mess up all the time. But yeah, that one was always fun, and it's great to get messages whenever someone catches it. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap this episode up for today, this episode of Sunday with Guy. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone that has been leaving me questions and comments. Without those, these episodes wouldn't be possible. So do leave questions and comments down below. If you want to have one of yours featured on next week's video, yeah, just leave it in the comments down below. It's that easy. If it's a good one, I will try to fit it into a future episode. Now, with all of that said, thanks again, and I'm going to go ahead, sign off, and say bye now.